Are you ready to dive into the world of project management? Hit that subscribe button as we explore how to stay relevant in the agile workforce. So the project work domain establishes effective project work and processes for managing those resources, fostering a learning environment. You can follow along on the EverTech and the project leaders page because effective execution in this performance domain leads to effective and efficient project performance. And that's ultimately what all project managers are looking and striving for within their projects. Project processes will also be in place and they will be appropriate for your project and your team environment. Appropriate communication will be in place for your stakeholders. Efficient management will be in place for those physical resources and your procurement processes. And also, there will be an improved team capability due to continuous learning and also process improvement. We're first going to start with these project processes. The project manager and the project team establish periodic reviews, and these processes help the project team in its way of conducting the work and delivering those outcomes. Process tailoring can be used to optimize the processes that the project team uses and needs to consider to complete the demanding work within their environment. There are multiple different methods that you can use. There is a lean production method, which uses techniques such as value stream mapping to measure the ratio of value adding activities to non value adding activities. We have retrospectives or lessons learned. These are meetings that allow the project team to review how the work has been completed and suggests changes to improve the processes and efficiency. You can also do where's the next best funds spent? This is a question that can help these project teams determine what should be done to continue with the current task or how do we move and optimize to the next activity to deliver this optimized value. Compliance with quality requirements, regulation standards, and organizational policies produce that desired outcome. This is in the forefront of all project processes. And process evaluation can include process audits, quality assurance activities to ensure that these processes are followed and the intended outcomes are being accomplished. We're going to talk about balancing competing constraints. Constraints can take the form of fixed delivery dates, compliance with regulatory codes, predetermined budgets, quality policies, considerations of those triple bottom constraints. And this also can include meeting with the customer, sponsor, product owner to present alternatives. Other times, decisions and also potential variances can be written down and they can be discussed with the project teams. And authority, some authority can be used to make trade-offs to deliver the end result. We're just talking about managing the project's team focus. This is very critical in any stage or in any project. The project manager should balance the workload and assess the project team, the team members, and ensure that they are satisfied with the work and remain motivated. Ultimately, it's the project team that is completing the work and delivering this work and working on this work. So maximizing overall delivered value involves focusing on the production, delivering that value, and protecting the project team and their production capability and the production team health and the product team's health and the project team's health throughout the satisfaction. The goal is to keep the project team focused on delivering value and maintaining awareness of potential issues, delays, and cost overruns that may impact the project. Working with procurements. There's a lot of areas that we're going to be talking about working with procurements, managing physical resources, the bid process. But first, we're going to start off with project communication and engagement. Communication takes many forms and entails the formal and informal communication mechanism. Information can be collected in meetings, conversations, and by pulling information from electronic repositories. Once collected, it is distributed as indicated in that project management communications plan. And in abundance of ad hoc requests for information, presentation, reports, and other communication may indicate that the communication plan needs a robust update to meet those stakeholder needs. So managing the physical resources, planning, ordering, transporting, storing, tracking, and controlling physical resources can take significant time and effort. Large amount of physical resources require integrated logistic systems. The management of physical resources are documented in the company policies, and it is implemented in your projects. Supporting documentation includes estimates for the type of material, basis of estimates, expected usage over time, specifications for grade, and delivery time and location. Working with procurement. Organizations should have policies to identify who has the authority to enter into a contract, the limits of authority, the processes and procedures that are allowed before conducting a procurement, and the project manager and technically qualified project team members. They work with these contracting professionals to develop the request for proposal, statement of work, terms and conditions, and other necessary documents to go out to bid, which is the next process that we will discuss in this work process. This includes everything with developing, publicizing, bidding the documents, and also the bidders conference and selecting the final bidder. Bid documents are all documents used to solicit information, quotations, or proposals from prospective sellers. The bidders conference. This is a meeting with the prospective sellers before the presentation of the bid or the proposal to ensure that all the prospective vendors have a clear, shared understanding of the procurement. This is also known as a contractors conference, vendors conference, pre-bidders conference, and bid documents include requests for information, which are used to gather information from the market before sending bid documents to selected vendors, request for proposal, RFP, which is used for complex or complicated scope where the buyer is looking for the vendor to provide a solution, and request for quote, RFQ. This is used when the price is the main deciding factor and the proposed solution is readily available. The relative importance of each contracting and the contracting need may weigh these variables. And the type of contracting vehicle depends on the size of the purchase, the stability of the scope of work, and the risk tolerances of the organization. Once that vendor is selected, the project plans, documentations are updated, and you incorporate the vendor dates, resources, costs, quality requirements, and risk into the process and the plan. Let's talk about monitoring new work and changes. In adaptive projects, projects will work and evolve and adapt. Work can be added to the product backlog as needed. The project manager works with the product owner to manage expectations around adding scope, the implications to the budget, and availability of the project team members. Product owner prioritizes the product backlog on an ongoing basis. If the schedule or the budget is constrained, the product owner may consider the project to be done when the highest priority items are delivered. However, in predictive projects, the project team manages and changes the work to ensure that only approved changes are included in that scope baseline. Appropriate changes to the people, resources, schedule, and budget accompany changes to the scope. Scope changes add uncertainty. Therefore, any change should be accompanied with an evaluation of any new risk. The project manager works with the change control review board to request to guide changes throughout the change control processes. And any approved changes, these are integrated and applied to any project planning documents, product backlogs, and the scope. The changes are also communicated with appropriate stakeholders. We're going to talk lastly about explicit and tacit knowledge. Explicit knowledge, this can readily be codified by using words, pictures, and numbers. Steps to a new process, distributed using information management tools to connect people to information such as manuals, registers, web searches, and databases. However, on the flip side, tacit knowledge, this is very challenging to express. It comprises experience, insights, and practical knowledge and skills. It is accomplished via networking, interviews, job shadowing, discussion forums, workshops, and other similar methods. Once again, You want to understand these topics because these are all centered around project work. This is a very important topic as any project manager is looking to deliver the project work. You need to understand how all this flows as a project manager. This may be a little bit more high level than the CAPM and the CAPM level of the requirements. However, if you are studying for the CAPM, definitely make sure that you understand these topics and how these are all interconnected to delivering that project work. Once again, please like, share, and subscribe. Look forward to seeing you again. Thank you for joining us today. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more project management content. See you on the next one.